live streaming.
All right. Well, hello everyone. Welcome. This is Comics News Today. It's a little bit of a comic book industry news, daily news show that we over here at Fanspeak want to do, and this is our first live attempt at it. So please enjoy. First thing we want to do today is talk about some sad news, actually, and let me go ahead and bring this up. Denali, why don't you go ahead and tell us about this sad news?
Well, unfortunately, it's been reported that Carlos Ikora, the legendary Spanish comic artist who created Judge Dredd from the 2000 AD British magazine, has passed away. He was 70 years old. The results of his death was cancer, and he'd been living that for like about 10 years. So it's kind of sad that he wasn't able to overcome and then pass away of that. Um,
Yeah, I think
so
we all enjoyed Judge Dredd. I see that Wolf has joined us. Good morning or good evening, sir.
Hello there, Chester.
Yeah.
good
All
morning.
right. Next little bit of headline news before we get into some more roundtable type of conversations. Uh, a lot of you might not be aware, but Amazon Prime was looking to actually do a Conan the Barbarian TV series that was going to try to compete with the Game of Thrones style or level of entertainment. Unfortunately, that show, which seemed to be coming along quite well, has been shelved or canceled completely. So that's a really unfortunate thing for all of us who enjoy Conan, and we're really looking forward to that. If you weren't unaware of it, I would suggest you go over to the Midnight's Edge and check out some of their videos. They have some really good videos on that. It's a YouTube channel, and I support them 100%. Those guys do great work over there. But the first news of today that we're going to have a roundtable here on is this. Over on BleedingFool, which once again is an interesting site. It's a parody of Bleeding Cool, I'm guessing. Do you know anything specifically about this, guys? I mean, who created this? Where did this come from? This BleedingFool?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
Uh,
either.
I'm pretty sure it came around the time when there everything started up with Comicsgate. With they're like, you know what? We're seeing that there's a heavy bias, progressive bias in the mainstream media, which or the other comic book news, that we need to actually report and make commentary that askew to the other way to kind of normalize things. So I'm pretty sure it's just another um, part of the movement that has pushed on. So
Yeah, no, I think maybe I'll have to do a little research and find out who's behind this and stuff. I mean, it's a cool idea. But this article right here is very interesting. This is an article by our very own Edwin Boyette, and he's talking about Marvel Comics versus the American people. Uh, and he's got an interesting little clip that's been taken out here. It says Marvel's window on the world has become a peephole constricted by the narrow lens of political ideology. Now, I'm not going to go and read this all word for word, but basically what he's talking about in here is the various, Marvel pros, DC pros, commenting on the Kavanaugh debacle that's going on in Washington right now. Are you guys up to speed on the whole thing that's going on with Judge Kavanaugh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Republican, rah 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 rah. Democrat, bark 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 bark. Sock
pretty
pop
much.
pop pop pop.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, it's completely partisan as it always is. But I don't know if you guys noticed this. I mean, I've been paying attention to politics since the '70s, and boy, things are more rabid and mean and nasty than I think I've ever seen it. And I'm not being hyperbolic in that comment. They just want blood, no matter whose blood it is. But let's take a look at some of these comments you got here. Kelly Thomas says, you cowards are afraid of the truth, and we will not forget." Once again, they're telling us they won't forget something. Who's this Kelly Thompson? I'm sure she does something useful. It looks like she does Hawkeye, West Coast Avengers, which both of those are train wrecks, in my opinion. I don't know. Have you guys read those at all?
Nope, not recently.
Yeah, I checked them out. They're really bad. They're really bad. Anyway, so
I'm trying to forget it. I've read
it's really bad.
My deal is I try to give everybody 10 issues.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's a good idea, though. I think you should give something 10 issues, but it's difficult to get through 10 issues sometimes. And this current run of West Coast Avengers is going to be really hard to get through. But she goes on to swear, and why is this, guys? Have you noticed that these SJW types they just swear all the time for no good reason? Have you noticed that?
Yeah, that's true. It's just part of being crass.
I guess I didn't know that was an important thing, but let me see here. Since I got,
I can be crass in a British accent. Oi, you wanker, you cunt, you.
Oh wow!
Piece of
Yeah, no, that's not good. That's not good.
But I'm saying, like, okay, all you can do is you can really be gross in language.
Sure.
You just can't present well. That shows you don't have a good argument that you resort to things. Anybody can swear, like I just demonstrated.
True, but I really would like to see you practice and come back with a really good Cockney accent. You should go work with Booster. He's quite amazing with that stuff. But here, yeah, she's just cussing and she's going on about nonsense. Then we have this Jordan D. White. What does White do? Do you guys know him?
I can't say that I do.
He's the editor.
This is their relevance and importance in my life.
He's the editor of the X-Men's
that's
comic
right.
books.
That's right. Okay.
So all your X-Men's, which includes X-Men's.
This is interesting what he says here, though. He says this hearing should not have been about proving without a doubt that Kavanaugh was guilty of sexual assault. It should have been whether he was without a doubt guilty of being the right person to put on the Supreme Court for life. That's true. But then he follows it up here. The accusations create the reasonable doubt. That means he is not the one we are looking for. The burden of proof is on him, not to prove he did not rape someone, but to prove he is a good candidate. Well, if you go with that logic, then no one's ever going to get elected for anything, because all you have to do is have one person come up and accuse you of something. It's not very logical.
Yeah, he's talking about preponderance of proof and moving beyond the reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt is when a police officer or law enforcement has, suspicion that a person is doing wrongdoing to question and investigate. That's the reasonable doubt. The fact that he's using it incorrectly. At first, he sounded like he was talking rationally, and I had a double take until you follow up with that question. It's like, okay, yep, now we're good.
No, this is just ridiculous. The first comment's not a bad one. The second one completely removes what he had to say about it. But this kind of stuff just goes on. They're just reacting and making their silly statements over and over and over. It's just quite hateful, of course. But what Edwin is doing here is he's demonstrating that they are illogical and are people who cannot be communicated with. But it's interesting. It's nice to see Edwin actually doing an article, putting up. That's cool. You guys got anything else to say on this before we move on?
Well, if you scroll down to Miss Thor, she is punching a Republican. Punch all Nazis.
Yeah, this is the absorbing man scene. Yes. But, that's their politics. All right. Well, let's move on. Now, everybody, of course, knows about the diversity in comics, Richard C. Meyer suing Mark Waid for tortious interference in regards to the Antarctic Press dropping the publishing of Jawbreakers. It's all the channels are talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. It's a well-known thing. But of course, with that, we're going to have fallout, right? And this last bit of news we're going to talk about today is that fallout. And we're going to start with this right here. I think this is an interesting page from Bounding into Comics. It is talking about the professionals launch hashtag I stand with Mark Waid. Well, wonderful. And let's take a look here. We have a whole page of tweets from various supposed pros and what they have to say. Can you guys see that clearly on the screen?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Mhm.
Excellent. So, DeWolf, why don't you go ahead and read this first one here from the Ingle of Dr. Moreau, or whatever that is.
Oh, well, obviously he stands with Mark Waid. And besides him usually being on the side of angels, this suit will fall apart the moment a judge asks, what prevented you from pursuing a publishing deal with another company?
That's
Wow.
interesting.
So that's not. No, it doesn't.
No,
Me
it
just
doesn't.
reading that.
It has
'Cause
nothing to do with it. Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether or not wait, hey, what prevented you from using the other water fountain?
Exactly. Wow.
If I can use a reference to the 60s and 70s.
You went deep
Oh, yeah.
there. Yeah. But no, of course, you're right. That has nothing to do with the court case whatsoever. But the problem is, these people that we're going to go through these comments, they know nothing about the law whatsoever. I mean, I studied a little bit of law when I was at university, but I know nothing. Nothing at all. But I guarantee you I know more than they do. And from just reading their comments earlier when I was going over the article, this has nothing to do with it. If you interfere with someone from a position of power, that is illegal. Let's go ahead and just keep read a few more there, DeWolf, please.
Oh, okay. Let me get back. Okay, here we go. From what you mean, Kurt Busiek resists?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, since everyone's saying that hashtag I stand with Mark Waid, let me just take that a little bit further and say, heck, because I'm not going to say that. I'll offer him a chair and buy him dinner, let the man sit. Besides, he's pretty entertaining to chat with over a meal. And then Joshua to start says, Snowflake Richard Meyer is a laughingstock, exhausting infant, and creatively vacant douche to 99% of the comic book industry, and that's why his career is shit. Hope he has fun spending that monkey money all you fools gave him on a lawyer. Well, wow. It goes right back to what you were talking about before. They're crass, they're mean, they don't act professional. I think this. I'm not sure if the term professional was used earlier in this, but that's not professional language. And you know what, guys, just to put this out to all of you who are against him, who have just meanness in your heart and hatred to him and all of us, we are having fun spending our money. I'm having my fun spending my money on their comic books, and I'm going to be entertained by it. Okay. Too bad for you that I'm going to be entertained, and they're going to have fun spending the money because there are so many of us giving so much money, and they're going to do fun stuff with it too. So, I'm sorry that you're having a bad day. We're not.
Yeah, no, it's interesting how they just paint this big brush on all of us and call us all these names and without even knowing anything about us. Denali, why don't you read the next couple ones? Oh, you get a nice one. You get Tess Fowler. Ooh, you're lucky.
I stand with Mark Waid hashtag when a whole lot of people wouldn't do anything at all. Mark tried his best to help many times, and in the way the public never saw us. Mark got my full support always. So
thanks, Tess.
There's now there's a character witness now, because now she's also admitting that Mark has done many things behind the scene that the public never saw. So she's now adding testimony that, Meyer's lawyers can use, and a jury, if it does go a jury, because he is demanding a jury trial at this point of the stage.
Well, and also everyone knows, inside and outside the industry, that Mark Waid is a tantrum throwing firebrand child. Uh, I mean, all the time. That's what he does. This is not the first time he's done something like this. He gets in trouble for this stuff all the time. And I found it interesting that this Simon Boland, who I have no clue who is, I'm sure someone does, but he goes ahead and throws Ethan Van Sciver in there, even though this has nothing to do with Ethan. It's interesting.
Right.
And any one of these other ones here interest you, Denali?
Let me see. Let's see. Gregory Paul Silver says, whatever happens with this ridiculous lawsuit, I'm not exaggerating when I say Mark Waid's comic has gotten me through some of the darkest periods of my life and making me a better, happier person. Nobody can take that away from it. I stand with Mark Waid. And here's funny. The last one that, Mark Waid did was Irredeemable comic. Have you ever heard about that comic?
Irredeemable. Yeah, I did see that.
Which was one of the better writings that he did.
Yep. It wasn't bad at all.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's kind of funny, tying that together, that you got people like him saying he'll stand with him. And then we have people on the other side who kind of say, you as a writer, when you're in the zone, you write the amazing stuff. When you're not in the zone, you act like a complete fool. And the thing about Mark Waid is, back in early 2000, even before internet fully launched, his tantrums were legendary. That it reached ears to me who wasn't even looking for that type of news or anything. That's how bad his tantrums were. I was just like a normal guy, and it's like, and when people talked about Mark Waid, it's like, yeah, he had extremely anger issues.
Yes, he does, and he's been reprimanded many times. I don't know why Marvel still keeps any contact with him, and in this case, this might come back to bite Marvel in this situation, because the lawsuit that they have against him with the tweets he sent and such, it's not a joke. Richard has a legitimate and a serious chance in winning this case. I see this one right here is very interesting, from Mario Candelaria, and it says, this lawsuit is just a cry for attention from some dweeb who seems to have run out of creative ways to attempt to seem edgy and innovative to his fellow dorks. Well, now that's interesting. You are, I'm assuming, in the comic book industry, because you do say you have the New York City Comic Con booth 946, which is coming up. So you're in the industry, but you're calling us dorks and dweebs. Aren't we your customers? Dorks and
Apparently
dweebs,
not.
you don't like us. Okay. But this keeps going on, and it's just the same thing, and they keep calling us names and stuff.
You just said that. You just said, aren't we their customers? Well, yeah, I think that's a very interesting point, because apparently no, we're not. And that's the problem with this type of mindset and this type of thinking, and that is that they draw the line, and there's an us them mentality, and we're no longer their customers because we think a certain different way, or we want a different comic book, and they drop sides. Is like the whole Kavanaugh thing you were talking about earlier. It's them and us. We're Democrats, and we can't agree with anything you Republicans say. It doesn't matter what's going on is right or wrong. I don't care about the moral issue or the values issue. And it's just, you're just you, and you're mean and evil because of who you are. And that's where we get the terms racist and stuff thrown around. And I'm just so glad that I don't live in that world with that mentality. I see people as nice folks and good and caring and compassionate. And I think that most people are like that, and that there's just a select few that individually have to prove to me that they are some form of, here we go. I'll just use the terms mean and hateful. before I actually just draw the lines up and say that they all are.
Yeah, no, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And of course, it's fine. And in truth, standing with a friend is fine. I have no problem with that. We'll see how it works out. But there's a little tag here. It says hashtag Gatecrasher. Should I click it? Should I? I'm going to click it. I'm clicked it. I did it.
This better not be porn.
Yes. Welcome to the official Gatecrashers World War Twitter account for all the latest news from Gatecrashers around the globe. Okay, is this actually something, or is this just self-promotion? I see Japanese advertisements. That's because I'm in Japan.
Yeah.
Nope. This doesn't look. This looks unrelated. Although this woman has an elephant on her chest. Awesome. Okay.
She's a Republican.
Yeah, there you go. Let's continue on to maybe the biggest troll that's going on right now, and this is another article from Bounding in the Comments. I tell you, this guy Trent, I think his name is John F. Trent. He's doing a really good job with this site. He should be proud of himself. He's done a great job here. He's very active in a lot of stuff, and I don't know if he has a team or not, but he's doing a good job. But this is interesting. This is, of course, the same topic. It says DC Comics artist Richard Pace posts diversity in comics Kickstarter appeal claiming he is a liar. Okay. Well, basically what this article is about is Mr. Pace has somehow gotten a hold of a private email interaction between Richard C. Martin and Kickstarter staff. Now, I wonder how he got that.
It's about that mutual female comic skater now turn away that was, insensate, on sending a lot of messages to the point that Richard Meyer had a blocker and got it. You can follow up with that news on Ethan's stream this morning from this morning's stream because he talks about it as well.
That's good. And he has insider information as well,
right.
Which we don't, but that's all right. We're doing our best as we can. Now, I read through this article completely, and what it seems like is Mr. Pace has gotten a hold of an email he should not have, for one. And I would say that someone at Kickstarter leaked this over to him, and that in itself is nonsense. But anybody who's dealt with Kickstarter, which I've dealt a lot with Kickstarter, knows that they are extremely biased and extremely left-wing in their thinking. So I'm not surprised that they leaked this. But the point that he's trying to make here is that Richard tried to get his book on Jawbreakers on a Kickstarter, and Kickstarter denied him. And therefore, him saying that, Richard saying that he's going with Indiegogo was him lying to his fans. And no, it was just a choice he had to make. So he said, I'm going with Indiegogo. So his argument is dead on that point. But the other thing that Mr. Pace doesn't understand is this doesn't make Richard look bad. This makes Kickstarter look bad because they wouldn't take his book for what? There's nothing political in the Jawbreakers. There's nothing discriminatory or sexist or any of the other isms they like to throw around. There's none of that going on in the book. So why did they deny it? It has nothing to do with the product. They denied it because of who they think he is and because of politics. So Richard Pace's argument here is completely off base. One, Kickstarter looks bad, not Richard. And two, how is he lying to his fans simply saying, I'm going with Indiegogo? I mean, he didn't have an option. He doesn't have to tell us about all his behind the scenes stuff. One, Kickstarter looks bad, not Richard.
We have Pope Fire Rage.
We do, and she came in with her mic on. Thank you, Pope Fire.
Yeah.
Why is that bad?
Yes, because we can hear echo.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Thank you. But anyway, that's the introduction to this article, and that's everything it talks about. That's the whole point. So, what do you guys think about this Richard Pace? Anyone have any opinions on this guy?
It's more of the agenda from that side,
but he's just adding fuel.
More coming to light
to the whole thing. But the point is, even with that, it's still it's not gonna change anything to the lawsuit. It's just gonna show, as you mentioned, Chester, that one, Kickstarter is biased to any conservatives or anybody who's now affiliated with Comicsgate, or friendly, might I add. friendly. Even if you're not saying you're part of Comicsgate, if you're seen friendly, your book is not going to go on there. 2, Kickstarter takes 7% of the project. We have gross over $2 million in the campaign. So 7% of $2 million is roughly around $100,000 plus. So they cost Kickstarter $100,000, rough estimate, because I haven't really calculated it. So not only are you alienating customer, you're ruining the brand and image, because Kickstarter was the brand and premier, crowdfunding to go, and now Indiegogo is now becoming the more premier and prestigious brand name because of those actions, and they just keep on kicking themselves right in the face, right in the nuts, so to speak.
Yeah. DeWolf, you got something to say on this, DeWolf?
Yeah, it's just a continual thing where you're seeing that agenda on that side, and when you see the money, once again, like Denali said, I just love to keep pounding that issue out there, that how much that this is becoming an industry, and it's not just us and the creators, it's also the printers, and there's the artists, if they're not involved, the artists, the creators, the writers, all those people. Then you've got printers distributing. I'm sure the UPS and FedEx and all the other people are going to be getting their little share in this huge multi-million-dollar venture that's now come up. And Kickstarter is another one of those. Oh, I mean, Indiegogo is another one of those that's going to be getting their share of the loot.
Yep. Yep, that's true. And as you mentioned, in what's going on in Indiegogo, and I'd like to once again mention, if you're not on IndieCron, checking about what of these Renaissance books you're going to back, please do. Pixel Trader's done a great job with this site, and he's launching the 3rd version of it very soon, actually. But as you see here, we come down to the bottom. That's $2,056,591 raised so far.
Yeah,
Very
last week it was 73 plus thousand. And of course, last time we were on, I believe I said the previous week was 100K. So, I mean, it's just a nice big number. Unfortunately, it was down a little bit, and we're going to keep watching that. And I'm going to keep reporting on how much week after week that we're going to keep this movement going.
That's true. And I'm really happy to see how well it's going and how things are growing. And hopefully we can help promote some of these smaller projects and help them succeed, and keep pushing this along and offering ideas and help and assistance as much as we can. Now, as you guys notice, we have Pope Fire has jumped on here with us. How you doing today, Pope?
I am doing fantastic.
I'm glad to hear it. Now, we just covered the news we wanted to cover today, but we still have a few minutes left. So, Pope, why don't you go ahead and talk about your charity raffle that you have coming up?
Okay, so we're doing the Comics Titans fundraiser, and for every ticket you buy, and tickets are 3 for 1 or 2 for 5, you will get entered into the raffle. And we just added a new little raffle bundle, which is 2 Funko Pops. One is of Raven, one is of Kid Flash, a copy of New Teen Titans Volume 2, Issue 1, and the complete first season of the animated Teen Titans show from 2003.
Yes, I saw that. They look good.
Cool.
Now we've already got a handful of donations. Somebody, before it even started, they were an early bird and donated $50. And we sent out our first comic book today.
Oh, very good. Excellent. So you are on it.
Awesome.
That is good.
News.
That is good to hear. Now, I'm just
we are
sitting here.
super excited for this.
And your official launch is today, yeah?
Yeah, we launched at 2:30 today.
Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw a link in the chat for you, and so people can go and check that out.
Now we will be adding a handful of more raffle items tomorrow. Some comic book artists found out about our fundraiser, and they have donated, or they're talking about donating some really nifty stuff that I think you guys would really like in the community. Now,
bless their hearts.
Now we will be taking some of the money we raise, and we'll be buying 5 goodie bags for from the Alternaween thing, and we're going to give them to people in the community that have children. So if you'd like to be part of that, definitely go hit up the Facebook page and send the page a message saying that you'd like to be part of that program, and the first 5 people will send the goodie bags to.
Yes. Well, I really like what you're doing with this. I think it's a great idea. I'm 100% behind supporting it. And we have the whole month of October to get raffle tickets out. And then on October 31st, you're going to have the actual raffle. And that should be exciting. And by then, who knows how many donations you'll have for giving out the raffle.
Yeah, we will be adding raffle prizes as the month goes by. I was thinking about buying a few statues, but I don't. We're gonna wait until halfway through the month before we decide on anything like that.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. And like I mentioned before, is keep in mind, doing the raffle is great, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But you can also have an auction or two during the raffle as well for a bigger item if you want, and that would even raise more money at the time and make it more of a live event as well.
Definitely.
Nice.
I mean, I'll have to bundle stuff for an auction though.
That's true. Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you very much, Pope, for coming on and telling us about that. And I'm sure we'll be talking about that every opportunity we have. Well, this show, Comics News Today, is one we want to keep kind of short. We want it to be a biteable size for people. The 2-hour shows are not for everyone to be able to sit through. So we want to have these kind of short. So we're going to go ahead and end this today. But before we go, let's get a last word from all our guests we have here today. So, DeWolf, go ahead and give him a closing statement, sir.
Hey, just like always, we're fans and we're out here watching, and we want all of you out there to know that, and we have an opinion, and we are going to be speaking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Danelli, you got a closing statement for everybody?
Yeah. So to get some balance, some bad news, we'll get some good news. So good news, Anchor Face has met its goal at $672.
Excellent.
So it's funded. And remember, as much as the other side starts harassing you, just ignore it, walk away, focus on the positive, focus how you can improve this community and make it grow. Because sure enough, as much as there's 5 of those people shouting and top their lungs, how much we're bigots, there's 100 more of us that are watching and seeing how we are acting as leaders. And we are leaders of, this consumer movement. And the best way to show how good we are as leader is to rise above that. Show them that we vote with our wallet and we create positive things and we build positive things, even if they call us names.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Well, I am the leader of Comics Gate, and you can be too.
Right.
And that is the reality of it. It might sound corny, but it is true. We're the ones who are pushing this. But anyway, thank you all very much. This is let us know what you think down in the comments about this show. We think it's a good little idea to come out and talk about the news of today and just interact with you guys live. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that bell so you get notification from us. And also in the links down below, you'll see a link to the Facebook group for Fanspeak. Please go over there and join that. Get involved. We're doing art right now for people so we can show the art off. We're also looking at doing some interesting things with possible advertisement for Fanspeak, and we want to get art in for that. And we're going to be doing a contest, which we'll announce very shortly. But other than that, thank you all very much. Have yourselves a good night, and we will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Aloha.